was I and why is my brain? When I started, it was like 11 in the morning, and now it's 6:30. It's dark outside. Anyways, so where was I? With my mom, we went to the genetics doctor or professor, or not sure how to name her correctly, like a big time doctor. It was deep winter, and I had to borrow a wheelchair to use it and to go to the doctor. And like at that time I didn't use wheelchairs. I was still trying to walk, and I thought like, oh my god, at least I can walk. Oh, it must be so horrible like to have to use a wheelchair. Like at least I can walk. And yeah, and I had to use it that day. And yeah, because it's so slippery outside and cold, and we don't know where we have to go. And yeah, we arrive, and she starts talking to us, asking questions and everything about my like childhood or when I first couldn't do something, and asks me all the usual things like lift your arm, lift your leg, whatever. She didn't want to say it instantly, like I know what you have. I think she knew what I had within like the first couple of minutes when we entered, but after that little examination, she said, yeah, I know what you have FSHD. I was like, what now? I have an FSHD, like what is that, like what is an FSHD? So that's facioscapulohumeral dystrophy. I suddenly forgot. I'm not sure if I'm saying that correctly, because I think it's something Latin or English. She said, yeah, it's a condition where your face gets weaker, your shoulders get weaker, and legs or your back, and it's just pretty much starts with your arms where you cannot lift them, and your face, and that it's like hard to move all the muscles. And I was like, huh, so I have something that has a name and it's very specific. I'm not like lost in translation, just like a regular kid who is just weak. I'm actually someone who has a genetic disorder that I know a name of. That was a really weird moment to realize, oh, you have this thing. Huh. I have thing. So she said that 99% sure that you have it, but of course let's do a DNA test where they take your blood and then they send it to Germany. After like a month or less, the results came back, which clearly identifies that I have FSHD1, which is the more severe case. FSHD2 is usually milder or appears very, very late in life, or it's just like people are not affected that much. They might have some difficulties in their arms or something like that. I'm not sure. I don't have it. I don't know how. So yeah, I have FSHD1, and yeah, I went home and instantly I went on the computer. I googled and searched and researched and tried to find anything I can about it, because now I know what it is, and it was so specific, and the more I read, the more details like matched me, and well, not completely everything, because there's also some people have difficulty with breathing because lungs are there's muscles, and the worst cases can even end up being on like a ventilator, and it doesn't mean that all of the muscles are gonna go away completely or anything like that. It's just it progresses slowly throughout the life, and it could stop or it could get faster. It goes fast, like happens more rapidly in your childhood or teens, which was also the case for me. So if we fast forward a little bit more, I used to have moments when I was walking and like trip over something, and I would face plant to the floor. Like I I would either be up or I would be falling down. Like there's no middle ground of like, oh, I tripped and I caught myself and I keep walking. Like that's not a thing. I fall down and hard. So I went to another doctor just for a regular checkup, and she was like, how about you use a wheelchair? Why don't you use a wheelchair? And I was like, no, you don't understand. I can walk. It's okay. I don't need a wheelchair. And she was like, yeah, but like it's very hard, and if you fall, you can break something or get hurt really bad. So the doctor says, well, use a wheelchair. It's gonna be easier. I'm like, no, like I can walk. She's like, use a wheelchair. I'm like, now I can walk. Use a wheelchair. Now I can walk. I should have listened to her. I thought that me using a wheelchair is like giving up. Like I've given up, and now people are gonna think that I'm sick and that I'm different and that something's wrong. And I mean, girl, something is wrong. But I was approaching it in a wrong way. See, the wheelchair is actually just a tool. I made a whole video about how I don't want to walk, watch it here. Of course, like I want to walk, but walking the way I was walking was doing me more damage and possible damage in the future if I fall and break a leg or something. I started using a wheelchair a little later on. We had to go in and make an appointment, choose a wheelchair that was available, like from the government wheelchairs. I mean, I know nothing about it. Okay, that one. And it's just like the choice is like there's no choice. So this, and after many more months, like 6 months or more, it finally came. It was a wheelchair that was not easy to use. It was heavy. It was technically a manual wheelchair, but like video here, it was super hard to navigate with a wheelchair as it was heavy. Though I had a lot more freedom in my own house. I didn't need anyone's help to get up from a chair and sit down. I was already sitting down and I could go around the house and go outside. I didn't feel like I was gonna fall, and it turned out not to be the end of the world that I thought it was. I started to get more comfortable and actually felt nice that I can wear like nice shoes, like, or I can wear heels and I can wear dresses, and I'm not gonna fall wearing the wrong shoes or trip somewhere. So a lot of stress went away. What I want to say with this whole thing is FSHD is definitely not a sentence. It kind of sucks, but you learn to live with it as it comes very slowly. For a few years you can walk, and in a few other years you kind of like feel like you shouldn't walk because you're getting more scared that you're gonna fall. I don't think it's anything that anyone should be ashamed of. Like I thought I need to hide. I will never have a boyfriend. I will never go out. I will never be pretty. I will always look like I'm sick and all these things. And I'm like, why am I thinking this way? Like that's not productive at all. So yeah, I kind of embraced the wheelchair, and a few years later when I discovered that there's better wheelchairs out there and how to get it, we got like a better, this one, like a lighter one that I could actually navigate more and better. And I don't really like want to walk. I'd rather sit comfortably in a wheelchair and live my life on being safe rather than trying to prove something to, I don't know, whom was I trying to impress with me trying to walk? I don't know, myself, I guess. So I've heard that there's some kids my age, when I was like 12, that are feeling the same way how I was when I was 12, kind of down and feeling different or left out. And it's all about how you take it on, how you accept what's going on, and you shouldn't hide or be afraid of a wheelchair. wheelchair. There's so many really cool people in wheelchairs, like all these athletes and like models and just people who are in politics or in universities and smart people, doctors, and you're no different from anyone else. It's what you make of it. So if you are gonna achieve things, you can achieve them in a wheelchair, which is what I've been doing. And I had a rough period in my life that I was kind of lost and I didn't know. I thought, is this it? Am I gonna be like sad and lonely, or am I gonna do something about it? And so I did, and I did things. I decided I'm gonna participate in like cultural activities and going to movies and meeting friends and going on dates and finding work. And after finishing university and getting my degree in graphic design, I was also kind of scared, how am I gonna get a job? But I realized that I can freelance, which is what I'm doing now, full-time every day. I have to work, and I'm working on like the things that I love to do because I studied what I love to do. So it's all what you make of it, and you shouldn't think less of yourself just because you have FSHD. Yes, you're gonna maybe look a little bit different or move a little bit different, but how many times have you caught yourself looking at someone who is maybe like disabled and thinking like, oh, he's such a horrible like person or whatever? Like, no, that's not, no one is thinking that you're horrible or you're ugly or whatever. It's just, they look at you and think like, huh, they're kind of different. And it doesn't mean bad, they're just curious what's going on with you. Really, that's pretty much all. They're curious, they just don't know. Sometimes it can be hard when someone asks, so what's wrong with you? And you're there like, excuse me? But what they mean is like, so what happened is, are you okay? Because they're curious, they've never experienced maybe anyone present, a person who lives their life differently than they do. So what you do, you don't be rude to them, just say like, hey, not much is wrong, I'm just a bit different than you. And I'm like talking, and I don't really even have like an end point because I just wanted to sum up of what I have, like what's wrong. People send me a lot of messages on Instagram asking me like, what level is my paralysis? And I'm like, what level? Like, I'm not paralyzed. And they're like, whoa, sorry. And I'm like, yeah, maybe you can inquire it a little bit differently. Or I've had like messages, what's wrong with your legs? I'm like, not much. So yeah, for people who are normal, please be careful how you ask these things, especially maybe young people, because they might be more sensitive than, because the whole world is watching them be different, and then you go and bring it up and say like, what's wrong with you? That's not the correct way. So in the end, yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, I guess that's it. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments. But I'm probably not gonna answer very personal stuff. Yeah, the general questions, sure, go ahead, ask me. And I will see you in the next video. This is gonna take me hours of editing because I keep saying like, and I keep pausing, and I keep thinking that I look weird.